chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back, sweat in my eyes. Old man's fight never says die. Old man on the mat, still standing tall. One more round, yeah, I've heard it all. Grip the edge, don't let it slip. Strength in the soul, strength in the grip.
Hey, Old Man on the Mat crew, this is Tony Jones coming at you with another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Guys, I am fired up, guys. Listen, I'm fired up for this next guest that we have on today. This guy has done a lot of things out there. One thing that's very important, and I think it's important that he mentioned, that I mentioned, is important that he's an older gentleman. And I don't mean he's crossed the river to the 50, 60 yet, but he's on his way. He's over 40 years old. He has a great family, 2 beautiful kids. Man, being a father nowadays, and Father's Day is coming up. So, guys, spoil these fathers, man. But
Tomorrow.
a lot of things are coming up. But anyway, let me jump in before I ramble on and do all my stuff. This guy, he's a former strength and conditioning coach. He did that for over 10 years. He's a former actor and model, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. He's also done Kung Fu and Muay Thai, which is really cool. I love that. He also had a major fight back in the day, was 10 years ago, a championship, which was really cool. And now he's one of the best men on the planet being an IT consultant right now. And that's really huge, man. Guys, but with that, I give you Nathan Ning. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Tony, for having me.
Hey, you're more than welcome, man. I'm glad, I found you. I was actually referred to you by another friend of mine, and because you were talking about some guests coming on, and he was like, you know what, you need to find this guy. And so I looked him up, and I was like, all right, this guy looks legit, man. He's got all the stuff. But I said this podcast is for old people. Dude, you look like you're like your early 30s or something, man.
Have you ever heard of that phrase, black don't crack and Asian don't raisin?
Yeah.
Uh,
I love it. I love
so,
it.
I mean, obviously I could probably do a little better with my skincare, but I'm blessed with the Asian genes.
Hey, I get it, brother. I get it. I love this phrase too, as they say, black don't crack, but it does swell. We get all large, man. But man, I've been on my back for I did this move out here, then I've been on my back for over a month. I blew my back out. I've never had a back injury ever. In all the years of martial arts, I never had a back injury. And I was just doing a crazy drill and I blew my back out. So I've been blowing up and swelling up on the couch and eating and everything else. So I get to work out in 2 more weeks. So I'm excited about that, man.
Oh, I totally understand. I'm kind of going through an injury recovery process myself right now.
Yeah.
Kind of blown out my knee about a month ago in training. You know how it goes. It's like scrambling on the mat. One guy's trying to get the other, and a little pop. And so I've been out. I believe I'm going to be going back into training next week, though.
Oh, get back on the mat, man.
Yeah.
But the time we're on these breaks, doesn't it drive you crazy, man? Where you could do
Yeah.
certain things, but you can't do all the fighting and everything else, man.
I totally get it. I have been really, really diligent in trying to, get back up to speed, doing a lot of like strength and conditioning, doing a lot of mobility work, just so that when I go back on the mats, I'm not like completely out of shape.
Like this guy, man. I tell you, I put on I put on some sweatpants I normally wear, and I was like, man, why are these a little snug? This maybe the new detergent I'm using. Maybe it's it's shrinking them, man. But man, when you blow something out, man, like you say, you have an injury and you sitting around on it, man. That's man. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard on the body, man.
I would say that your injury is probably worse when it comes to like getting back into it than a knee, which sounds kind of crazy because I feel like because everything involves the back. Even if you like lift something overhead, you'll feel it in your back. If you train your lower body, you're also training the back. Whereas like, with the knee, I have my arms, both arms are good. I have one other leg that's really good. I have my core that I could train nonstop. So I feel like the training hasn't stopped since I've been injured. It's just been different. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, man. Like you said, the knee, yeah. But I think any injury really takes you out of your routine. And you being in the fitness and doing all the stuff you've done, which is smart, you know how to, let's say adapt to injuries and stuff like that. And that's really cool, man.
Yeah, I was a head strength coach at a physical therapy clinic. So it was like two-part clinic. One part was for like recovering people, and then the other part was when the folks have essentially graduated physical therapy, and it was kind of like a spectrum, right? So it's like
Okay.
they got injuries, they go to physical therapy. If they're trying to get fitness and strength and conditioning, they go to the fitness side. And so I was the head strength coach on that side. So I'm very, very used to injury, very used to being in that world and navigating around that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. How long did you do that for? Did you go to school for that or?
Yeah, I went to school for kinesiology, exercise
Oh
science.
yeah, yeah.
And but I think that most of my education and experience comes after school. When I was in school, I'm not sure if it's around anymore. There used to be a place called Velocity Sports Performance.
Okay,
One notable athlete at Velocity was Allison Felix, if you are familiar
okay.
with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, I didn't train Allison. That would be
yeah,
really cool if I did. I worked
yeah.
more with like high school, college, and even some pro athletes. But I think that going through that fresh out of college gave me an insight into what high performing athletes should look like, how they should
Okay,
recover, how they should take care of themselves. Because I was a coach, I had to
yeah,
instill that into the athletes that I trained.
yeah. Man, oh man, that's a tough field, man. Because when I was at college, I did two courses in kinesiology because I didn't know where I was going to go, and I did the two courses because I needed some credits, and I was like, this is interesting. It was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Really big time. I'm like, I know where my elbow is. I know where my foot is. I can do this. Man, you guys know your stuff, man. Now, what made you move into that? I know you said with education and you worked at the place. What made you decide, hey, I want to take this avenue and help people get better? In essence.
So, just like you in college, and just like a lot of people in college, you go in there not knowing what you're going to do. I think I originally majored in philosophy and business at one point. But you need your science classes, right? So I hopped into a physiology class, which was way out of my league. I mean, this was just stuff that I had no idea, about. And I remember going to school on the last day, I think it was like the final. So I was taking my final after running 20 miles. I was a very crazy, athlete. Crazy in like in the sense that I was not as disciplined as I thought. So instead of like
Okay.
ramping up from like 5 miles one week, 6 miles, 7 miles, I was like, oh, I could run 5 miles easy. Why don't I try 20?
Oh,
Um,
jeez, man.
yeah. I know, and I just remember like walking to the final limping, just going like, man, something ain't right. Like I felt like every step that I took, like my knees were like clicking, my feet were clicking, and it was just
Wow.
yeah, and I was just in so much pain. So I asked my physiology professor, I'm like, can you like I know you were like a doctor or you are a doctor. Can you look at my knee real quick? Like something ain't right. And he just looks at it, touches a few things and go, "Oh, both your knees are out of place. Come talk to me after the final." So I go, so I fail the final because I didn't pay attention the whole semester. I fail the final,
Man.
go to his back room, and I kid you not, he just took my legs like kind of like a chiropractor would,
Yeah.
but like popped everything like my knee, my foot, my toes even. And I was
Wow.
just like, whoa, this is crazy. I didn't know you could do this. And he just said like, hey, this was before our winter break. So he said, when you walk out of here, you're gonna feel a lot of clicking, and that's just like the clicking back into place. And I remember that, and that stuck with me. It was just like, man, this guy just did voodoo on me or something. And obviously, my whatever was going on healed because he clicked everything back in place. Dr. Marawala, just shout out to him. And this was at a community college. Not saying that professors at a community college are less than
Oh
professors
yeah.
at other colleges, but it
Yeah.
was just like I was not expecting that in that
Right.
scenario. You're taking like a course for what, like $50 or something. You're not
Yeah.
expecting this like elite level like care because I've been to
Yeah.
a lot of doctors before where they tell you take two Tylenol and ice it and
Yeah.
whatever. But no, this
Yeah.
was like come see me after class, clack crack crack, and all of a
Wow.
sudden I was like, whatever he does, I got to know this. And so it
Oh,
led me on a path of like, let me just study the human body. And I re-enrolled the next semester because I fa obviously failed that one. And I became his top student. Like right off the gate, I was just obsessed.
my.
Yeah, like every day after school, I would like study for like 4 to 8 hours.
Oh
Just
man.
learning as much as I could. So yeah, and then what the crazy thing was, he is a podiatrist, a foot doctor, and I think he wanted me to go that route, but I just took up a lot of interest in, athletics. I wanted human performance. I wanted to, it was also like for my own self, like training, because at that time I was like an up and coming Muay Thai fighter. So I was like, I gotta see how I can make myself even better. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it just all came about. Got an internship at Velocity Sports, and from there
Man,
became a coach.
that's pretty cool, man. Your whole life changed on a guy just fixing you. That's pretty cool.
Whole life changed.
Wow.
I mean, even in my current, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to there later, but even right now, I'm an IT solution
Yeah.
consultant, and that's in healthcare. It's in healthcare
Oh, okay.
because this professor from so many years ago, just that one incident, changed everything.
Wow, man. We never put so much weight on these small things that we consider small, and they change everything. Just imagine your life doing something else. You'd probably be in a wheelchair now. Seriously, busted up knees and hips and all
Yeah.
that stuff, not getting the right fixing you needed. That's pretty
Hmm.
impressive, man. Have you ever
Yeah.
heard of a guy, Quentin Torres? He's a movement specialist also. He specializes in the feet. And I had him on the podcast maybe a year ago. And he's focused on the feet. He's really big out there. You should check him out. And he, like you mentioned, feet. He said everything starts with your feet. Adjust your feet, and everything else finds its way. And I'm like, all right,
My professor would agree. Definitely.
all right, good stuff, man. Wow. Now, when you were in college, when you were starting to do that, did you start in martial arts then, or was it after all that?
I actually started Kung Fu at about 5 or 6 years old, kindergarten.
Okay. Okay.
So it was just something my parents always saw me as like being very, very mild-mannered and quiet. And they were worried that I would get bullied. And I think the impression they got from hearing back from my kindergarten teacher was that I was getting bullied at school, which I don't remember and probably like suppressed memories. So they
Yeah.
got me into Kung Fu. And at that time, Jet Li movies were also really big.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
so
yeah.
Kung Fu and Jet Li and Kung Fu movies, it just kind of got ingrained in me to be
Yeah.
a martial artist, to be a Kung Fu fighter, and to essentially use the methodologies of Kung Fu in my everyday martial arts training, even today. So yeah, I
Okay.
started really, really early, and the Kung Fu at that time was more about like forms and performances, but I
Yeah.
think it still created like a backbone of athleticism that definitely carried over into everything that I've done.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember as a child too, we see these kung fu movies and the things they would do with their bodies. Little kids, we're jumping off everything, thinking we could do the
Yeah.
moves. Now when you got in there, was it helpful for your self-esteem, going through that? Because I don't know if you guys did like sparring and stuff in kung fu at all. I don't know if
We
that
didn't.
you
No.
didn't. So did it help your
Um,
self-image and everything, your self-confidence?
I definitely think it did. We still have to like kick some pads and stuff, and I would always try to kick it as hard as I could. I
Yeah.
still kick hard today, uh, but yeah, I would kick that as hard as I could. And I probably had like some ego, even at, like 5 or 6 years old, thinking I was like the chosen one. So I had this belief that, I was gonna be like a beast.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. The chosen one at five. All the movies they start there, they pick them. There's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Um, and it felt like
Oh
my
man.
Sifu at that time picked me too, because I was quiet and mild-mannered. It also made me very observant, and so I followed his instruction. I wasn't like off goofing off, and I think that like stuck with my Sifu at that time.
Yeah, that's cool. So we wanted to pour more into you because you were listening.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
that's cool. Now, coming from kung fu and going into all these different martial arts, we'll touch on those. But do you think is kung fu more? Is it a self defense art? Do you think it is, or can it be, or is it more just like you said, performative? Is it one of those just for forms and to get your body aligned and all that stuff?
I'm going to answer this in two parts.
Okay.
So from 5 years old to 18 years old, I would say that it was all performance, right?
Okay.
I couldn't imagine, but like I try to picture like in a street fight, what would I do? Because I fought in high school, and I never used kung fu. I never used like anything that I knew, because you can't just be like white craning people or like
Yeah. Right.
tiger fisting people, right? So
Right.
never use that. So I think the 18-year-old me would have told you, kung fu is only performance. Um, at 18, when I was gearing up for my first competition, right out of high school, this was when my dad introduced me to a different Sifu. His name is Sifu Ao, AU. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that. I only know how to pronounce that in Cantonese. Um, and he was, I don't know, yay tall, so I'm guessing like 5'4" or something, five,
Okay.
you know, uh, but what I remember was that this dude was like the most explosive person I had ever felt in my life, and he was already like
Really?
well into 60s, if not
Oh
70s at
wow.
the time. Um, and he was doing more than just like hit me here and then like grab my wrist and twist me. He
Mm,
would show me these moves, and I was just like, man, this guy is made of steel. You know how
wow.
like you you know how like OGs that what when
Mm.
like they touch you, they feel different. And I
You
just remember
feel
like,
everything grab, and you
hmm
feel the muscles from their fingers to everything. They're
hmm
solid, man. Yeah.
the tendons, their bones, everything, like his
Yeah.
knuckles were bigger, and I was like, man, this guy is for real. And so what he did was he was like, okay, your son has like a good base, right? He's like, told my dad, like, your son has a good base. Have him do these drills with the staff, and he would have me practice the staff move, two moves on the Chinese staff, uh,
Yeah.
or some people call it the bow
Excuse
staff,
me. The bow staff. Yeah.
and he had my dad get a weighted one, so it's like heavy like
Oh
metal
man. Yeah.
staff, and he was just like practice this, and so I would do that. Practice this in my backyard, and it's just like these two moves, and just constant like kung fu mindset training it. um and I did that for, yeah, like 2 3 months or so. And when I got to the tournament, I remember I was super scared, because this was like a really big tournament in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
where this was like, I don't know if you know the Kung Lee fight team, or Kung Lee. He's a MMA
Oh.
fighter.
Yep. Yep. It was back in the day, and yeah.
hmm He had a
Yeah.
big fight team, and I was fighting one of his people on my first tournament fight. And I remember being super scared, hopping into the ring, and this guy had like, it felt like the entire arena or auditorium was his folks. And then
Yeah.
on my side of the corner, it was my dad and my one Muay Thai coach. And
Oh
I was just
man.
like, man, this is crazy, because you could hear his like crowd roar.
Yeah.
And the fight started, and I remember my legs just feeling so weak. I
Oh yeah.
tried to leg kick him, and I think a feather would have hit him harder than that leg kick that I
Oh
threw.
man.
And this dude
Oh man.
responded, yeah, this dude responded immediately, threw a head kick, clipped my nose, and then threw a 1-2. And I just remember going, man, I'm gonna get killed out here.
Wow.
Uh, and I just remembered like essentially using like that movement from the bow staff. I threw a
Yeah.
right hook, boom, clocked him, and he spun and flew to like the other side of the ring, out.
Oh man.
10 seconds. This was
What?
my Yeah, this was my first competition ever. It was 10 seconds long.
Wow.
And that 5-year-old me would have been like, yep, chosen one. I knew it. uh,
I love it.
but that movement from the bow staff that he had me do, I mean, I trained that so much with that weighted
Yeah.
metal bow staff. And I did it so much. So then when it came time to it, that right hook was just sealed the deal. And I always felt like that punch was extra strong because of that.
Wow, that's classic. I love it, man. I love it. Because you see from a lot of these kung fu movies and stuff, and some I know they're movies. We all know they're movies, but they do have you doing these repetition, just like when you were in regular karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, anything. We're doing these repetition movements. But in kung fu, I don't know why it seems so much, in my opinion, realer. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's old movies and all that stuff, but it seems realer. So the repetition movement, man, got you ready, and you just clocked them, man.
Ready. Got me ready.
Wow. Oh my! Did you get a lot of fights after that? Did they call you in for more fights? 'Cause you were the chosen one that you took the big guy out.
There were a lot of different like changes after that. Just because like my coaching and everything. I switched coaches. I actually went to my coach's coach after that.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and joined a Muay Thai gym in Oakland, California. Um,
Okay.
I trained under a Thai champion. Uh, and then essentially that kind of led me to, Muay Thai was real cool. I mean, but Muay
Yeah.
Thai is also pretty scary. Like
Oh,
for those who
absolutely.
don't know, I mean, Muay Thai is brutal.
Yeah.
You can't flow. I mean, I guess you can flow roll, Muay Thai, but in a fight like, you know, elbows, knees, like everything about that is all
Brutal.
about pain. It's all about
Yeah.
pain. Um,
Yeah.
so, I just remembered, man, I want to try something easier like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something.
So there was an elbow you in the face while you're on the ground. Oh
Yeah.
man. But did they call what's it Muay Thai is what was that? A friend of mine, he was telling me about the name of Yawa, Yaza. It's a small word they call which it was just saying it means to kill you with elbows and knees or something like that, man. And he told me about that. I was just like, you know what? That's terrifying.
I'm glad I don't know about that. I'm usually on the giving end of that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Man,
mean, it was brutal. It was very brutal.
wow.
Hard training.
Oh yeah. How long did you do that for? Roughly.
I want to say dedicated to Muay Thai was about 4 to 5 years.
Oh man,
Dedicated. I
that's good.
mean, yeah. Uh, my head coach at that time. So we had a Thai champion who owned the gym, but the coach who I interacted with most was Rakarma Young. Rakarma is a world champion, extremely good boxer, and I just remember days in that training room just felt like weeks, because he
Yeah.
would, sparring him was painful. I mean,
Wow.
he was still fighting when he was doing the coaching. So, I mean, he definitely brought the heat all the time, and I think that was just
Man.
that forged me into being able to fight.
Oh man. Muay Thai is vicious, man. I love watching the videos of those guys. And from what I understand, the training goes all day. So they would get up in the
Yeah.
morning, they train, they eat, they train, they eat, they train, all day. Is that true or no?
So when you go to a Thai camp, that's definitely what it's going to be like. So you wake up,
Okay.
shadow box, hit the bag, and then you hit pads, and then you rest. What I did when I was in Thailand, and I wasn't in Thailand for that long, but what I did after that was, I would take a nap and then wake up, and then the same thing again. You run, you shadow box, you hit the bag, and then you hit the pads, and then rinse and repeat. And that was 5 to 6 days a week. Saturday, for a lot of people, was only one session instead of a double. And then
Mm.
Sundays were off. Yeah. I mean, it was just hard
Save your body
training.
for one day. Jeez Louise, man. But do you think now it just I like asking some of these type of questions, especially with martial artists like yourself who had the experience from multiple different arts. Do you think Muay Thai can hold the torch to being probably the most brutal and the most efficient? Is that a better
Oh,
way to say
definitely,
efficient martial art?
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. I would say Muay Thai is probably like the style that you want to have if you are getting into like a street altercation.
yeah,
That is hands down the best. Uh, Obviously you could say that like wrestling or jujitsu or judo would be up there because judo you lock them up and you hit them with the earth.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. But what if there's two people? What if there's three or
Right.
four? That then all of a sudden
Yeah.
but But Muay Thai, you have a solution for the clinch. So if people are up close, you clinch them, knee them, elbow. Um,
Yeah.
you also have long distance stuff. You know, you could push kick, you could punch, you could leg kick. And I think
Yeah.
because Muay Thai, because there is that leg kick that gets practice, the leg kick can save you. Most people are not ready to take a full shin to the thigh, shin to the calf, shin to the knee.
Those
Like
are brutal.
most people can't handle that from like a real Muay Thai fighter. So hands down, I think that is the best self defense art for sure.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, I've seen them, man. I've seen these guys. I've trained in Muay Thai for a couple of years. Nothing insane. This was back in the younger days, and it was brutal, man. It was hardcore. Southside Chicago, it's just, you
Oh,
know, it was hard.
so in college, that same college where I met that professor, we also had to take PE classes, and so we were offered judo and wrestling. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and and so I also got blessed with having a wrestling coach or a judo coach. His name is
Yeah.
Steven Soroy. I believe he wrestled for UCLA. So he black belt in judo. Great judoka.
Yeah.
Also was a sambo champion in California
Oh
at that
yeah.
time.
Oh
And
man.
then also was a wrestler. And he was the head coach for the wrestling team. So I definitely got really, really lucky
Dude was
having
vicious, man.
having exposure to that. Obviously, I was not a good wrestler. I
Yeah.
only did it during the off season. Um, I mean, you could say that I was trash, but I had heart. Uh,
Yeah.
and I had some. I took a few semesters of the judo, and the judo was less about. It was more for a class, so it was less about
Hmm.
like sparring, and it was more about remembering the different throws. So unfortunately now I don't have any of those judo skills, but I think it definitely set me on a path to get ready for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So did I in college. I did judo in college. It was great under Grandmaster Pac. He was a vicious judo guy, judoka, and you mentioned wrestling. Once I tell the story 1,000 times, but I'm gonna tell it again because I think it's just important. Because I always believe wrestlers have the best conditioning out there. I really
Oh
believe it,
yeah.
just because the way they do it. And once a month, we would have to spar, as we call it, randori with the wrestlers.
Oh
And we're so
wow.
used to grabbing gis, and the wrestlers, they didn't grab me. They just ran through us like we were we were nothing, man. Getting pile drives into the mat. It was crazy, but we learned something about ourselves, and I think that was Grandmaster Park's purpose. We did all the judo in a month, and then once a month we go to the wrestling room and we have to run do it with these guys, and not one of us left out of there without getting beat up. It was great, man. It was great,
Wow. That what a
man. It
great
was
way to
insane.
learn. We
Oh yeah,
definitely did have because he was also coach to the wrestlers. So
yeah.
then he would have his wrestlers take judo. Um,
Oh yeah.
so I mean that was shocking. I remember one guy who was shirting at the time. He was also the only time that I've ever landed a clean judo throw in judo
Uh,
class was against
yeah.
a red shirted wrestler, and it was
Oh
I
wow.
got I got so lucky. Do you remember
Wow.
the throw? I mean, it's called tomonage, but
Moinaga, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But do you remember the way that Ryu and Ken did it in the video game?
Oh man, no, he did it. What did he do? He shot him up in the air,
Just threw him
didn't he?
threw him
Yeah,
backwards, right?
yeah.
So it's
Just grab it.
different.
Ah!
Yeah, because in in real life judo, you know, some people when they do the tomonagi, they actually land back on top. They land in mount
Yeah,
from with
yeah,
that one.
yep.
But in the video game, you just throw them. And I just
Yeah,
remembered this dude. He's redshirt in wrestling, and it's me and him. We're like the same size, and I'm like pushing into him, and he's like pushing into me. And I think like I tried to like throw him. He doesn't fall obviously, and he tries
yeah,
something. And because I have the gi, and I think that's the big difference was that I could kind of like hold him away with the gi. He started getting
yeah.
really frustrated, so he started like rushing into me, like charging me. And I
Oh
remember
man.
going like, man, the only thing I know right now that I could do is this Street Fighter move. So I had the collar and the sleeve, and then as we're going backwards, I put my foot on his like stomach or something. And I just
Yeah,
threw him. I
it
I
launched him.
swear, I swear if he went like 10 feet.
Awesome.
Um,
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
So he flew,
Oh,
and because he's a wrestler, like you said, they have the best conditioning in the world. I think his back touched the mat for a half a second.
wow.
And
Boom.
yeah, he immediately spun back around and charged at me. And I just remember like the coach was like, Mate. And I was like, oh, thank. He was about to kill me.
It's gonna get-
But yeah, I mean, it was like the coolest throw, but I don't even think I
Yeah.
scored, under judo rolls I would have scored because I swear he
Yeah.
touched the mat like a split second. Boom. And
Oh
then
yeah.
sprinted right back at me. Crazy.
That's that vicious wrestling, man. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. You got him with that throw. We won't
Got
call
him
it
with
the
that.
Muay Thai anymore. We're gonna call it the Street Fighter throw.
The Street Fighter, because you launch straight up launch him.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I don't know how many times I tried that throw in grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and if it's a white belt or somebody lower, oh, I get them every time. But anybody else, they just squat down and I'm on my back and
Yeah,
I'm in the full mount. Like, damn it, that didn't work.
yeah.
Oh man, I wish back in those days they would have had the camera to take a picture of you doing that throw and you find it in some memory back. You were like, yeah,
Oh
this is the
man,
guy I threw.
that would have been great.
That would have been great,
Memories.
man. Oh man, coming up from so many different arts, man, you look back and I'm sure that like all these different arts that you've done, you've taken some of the things that doesn't work out of them, that we all know this won't work, that won't work in a real fight. And so you kind of make your own system in essence in your head, when you're using all these techniques. Did you end up developing your own system for yourself, using all the different pieces of these different martial arts?
I think that's a really, really good question because I mentioned earlier that I was, did Muay Thai, but
Mhm.
because it was in Oakland, California, and I was, at home at the time, I couldn't get to the gym all the days of the week. So then a lot of the times I would be in my garage training, workshopping
Okay.
with my buddy. We ended up calling it Garage Self-Defense, GSD.
Eh,
Uh,
there you
and
go.
and me and my buddy, we would be in the garage just workshopping, just blending these styles together. And I think a lot of the style, what it really ended up being was essentially like boxing and Muay Thai mixed together. As you know, like Muay Thai, you have like this kind of stance and this kind of like
Hmm.
rhythm, but you can't do
Yeah.
that in MMA.
Right.
And then when you have boxing, especially like we were training out of East Oakland, California for boxing.
Okay. Yeah.
The style we were at King's Gym, and I think the one of the best person to come out of King's Gym was Andre Ward,
Okay.
Andre
Yeah.
SOG Ward. And
Yep.
so I had my boxing trainer, and I just remember like the stance that we had. We were going to be open up to leg kicks the whole time, so we ended up essentially finding like a blend between Muay Thai and boxing. Put that
Okay.
together.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously we both have me and my buddy David. We both have kung fu roots. Actually, the same
Yeah.
style of kung fu too. Um,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
we blended all that together, and we also idolized Bruce Lee, of course.
Yeah. Who
Um,
doesn't, right?
yeah, exactly. Um, we idolized Bruce Lee, so then we took adopted that stance, that southpaw stance.
Hmm.
So when putting this all together with that framework of like mix everything together, uh, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless was kind of like Bruce Lee's like Jeet
Bingo.
Kune
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
methodology. Um,
Yeah.
and so from our garage, he and I linked up even when we were like changing different coaches, changing gyms. It was always me and him in my parents' garage all the way to one championship in Singapore, in Taiwan.
Wow.
Like when I needed a cornerman, like he was my guy. When I
Wow.
fought in Southern California, it was like, okay, me and him, we're gonna go and we're gonna do this thing. And
Yeah.
so we started training together at 14 years old, like the summer of eighth grade. And
Wow.
we went all the way to one championship.
Man, that's cool, man. But that says a lot about you, though. It really does about both you guys, because you have the mindset to take all these different arts and say this is not going to work for me, because that technique may work for somebody else, but for your style and way you fight, that didn't work for you, and you
Yeah.
you had the wisdom and knowledge to do that. That's pretty unique, man. Are you go get start your own system with your new gis and stuff out there on the streets?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely still got some refining to do because, I definitely could. I've been trying to use that in like a striking fight. So right now I've been ever since I retired from MMA, I've taken up two professional striking fights. One was Muay Thai
Okay.
rules, the other one was kickboxing rules. I
Oh
recently
wow.
fought about a month and a half ago. Um, Lost split decision. I
It's all
definitely think
right. You
that,
were in
yeah,
there.
yeah, I was in there. It was a celebrate my 40th birthday, against a very
I
active
love it.
fighter.
I love
It,
it.
um, yeah, I just wanted to do the thing, because one day I know,
Congratulations, brother.
yeah, one day I know that I won't be, I won't even have like the physicality to walk into that ring anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day, and while
Yeah.
I still can, while I could still punch and kick, I'm just gonna see what I could do.
I love that. I love that. I absolutely love that, man. That's that warrior spirit, man. You don't want to sit it on the shelf too soon and be like, I'm done. You wanted to
Yeah.
test yourself one more time. That's awesome, man. And how'd you feel? How'd you feel walking into that fight? Were you just like, you know what? I could take anybody on. I still got it. I'm still the chosen one. You know?
Now, it's very interesting because when I look back at like pictures of me when I was like in my prime, like in my one championship days as like, the MMA fighter, the person I look back on the mirror is not the same as that guy. Because that guy was, I mean, not to like toot my own horn or whatever, but at that time I was like 4.5% body fat, and I was just like, I was ready. I was like an engine that
Oh
was
yeah.
like, boom, no warm
Yeah.
up needed, boom.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into the ring at basically 40 years old, and I just remember thinking like I'm kind of like an old lion now. But I still got something.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
ain't
Yeah.
all gone.
Yeah.
I've kept my body, I've kept my training. It's not all gone. So I think the big thing that I felt was like I was just like, let's just see what happens. Let's
There
see
you go.
let's see what's under the hood still.
Yeah, man. That's still got that mane a little bit coming up on you. I like
Yeah.
it, man. But I think about that stuff quite a bit. And what gets me through it, this is just for me. I don't know for anybody else, I'm still consider myself middle aged. I never tell my age. Okay, I'll tell you, 31 years old.
There
No? All right.
you go.
Anyway. But one thing that gets me going, it keeps me in there, not just on the mat, but doing anything. Is I'm a believer. So in the Bible it says that God promises man 120 years. That's our lifespan, right? And so I live on that. I hold on to that. So I want all 120 healthy. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
keeps me going. That keeps me, what? So I see some guys not half my age, but younger than I am. They got all these, oh, this hurts, and oh, I can't do
It's
that, and
crazy.
it's crazy. I felt like that about a month with my back, man. That's what got me off the couch. I said, this is not gonna be the end of me. I'm gonna do these exercises they told me to do. I'm gonna do these stretches. I'm gonna try it, but I did eat a lot of junk food sitting on the couch, so I swole up a little bit. But I'll be back. I'll be back. But
You'll be
man,
back.
that's
There you
cool
go.
though, man. You got back in there. Now, are you gonna do any other fights, man?
I'm thinking about it. So I'm gonna be doing the World Masters, Master Worlds in Jiu-Jitsu in
Yeah.
September. So,
Okay.
that's Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks after that, there's gonna be another kickboxing fight that they told me they're gonna put me on the
Man,
card. So let's see.
hey, you are brutal. I love it,
Yeah, I mean, so
dude.
the fight that I did, I lost by split decision because I think two main things was that I got knocked down in round two. Uh Man, I was just thinking well, like every time I play back that exchange, the dude's punching and I started thinking like the old me, like the dude's punching me, so I better be punching him back instead of like, dodging, moving,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And got clipped.
It
Sat
happens.
down for like a half second. I was like, man, that sole thing could have probably like determined the outcome of the fight. Because
Yeah.
so it was 4 round fight. First 2 rounds, he definitely won round two, like a 10-8 because he knocked me down.
Yeah.
But I won round three and four, and I
Oh,
think
wow.
some judges even thought I won round one. But I definitely did way more damage. I was
Yeah.
able to play pickleball the next morning. But I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
man.
this dude was
Wow.
He had some bruises on him. uh, so yeah, I felt good. I felt strong.
Yeah.
Probably could have fought a little smarter. So I'm hoping that,
Yeah.
if I do fight in September, I will use more like old man wisdom to fight instead
Yeah.
of like getting in my head and going like, man, maybe I should just like exchange with this dude. Because,
Yeah.
against, especially because I fought such a hard puncher, I probably shouldn't have done that. When he was like punching, I should have, been shelling up. But I just wanted to
Yeah.
see, because a lot of times when you
Yeah.
hit
It's
people
okay.
yeah, when you hit people when they're hitting at you,
Yeah.
sometimes if you get it right, I mean, it really like clips them. So
And it takes them
it's
out of
all
their
good.
rhythm quick.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But you know what? Hindsight is always 2020. When you're
Yeah.
in the fight, we've all been in that ring and we've been in that fight. You see things differently in the fight, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to outside the fight, you look at it like you were just doing. You're thinking, looking back, damn it, I should have done this, I should have done that. But in the moment, that was what you thought you should have done. All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
hey.
definitely.
Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, man. But what other old farts in the ring too fighting, brother? You in there. You're in
Yeah.
there still swinging, man. And you're planning on another one. Oh wow. Man, man, man. Now, when you get ready for worlds, do you have any other training you do? I know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I mean that I shouldn't say training, I say any mindset of training, or is it just you go in and roll every day, keep staying crisp and all that stuff?
So at this age is, and I'm saying this as a 40-year-old, because we all know, like, while I still look relatively
You look
young,
great, man.
whatever, uh,
Yeah.
there's a body difference between 40 and 30. I can
Night and day.
yeah, night and day. I
Yeah.
fully feel that. And I think
Yeah.
the big thing is, I have to keep up with I think strength training is not even that important. I think the really, really big one is the mobility training.
Okay.
So I practice, I do a lot of mobility at nighttime, so that I wake up not feeling, creaky.
Okay.
So I will sometimes, the nighttime is also like a time where I like spend time with my wife, but that
Yeah.
time I've been, doing my mobility training. I do something called functional range conditioning. Uh,
Okay.
Story short of functional range conditioning is essentially it's just training your body to understand its endpoints, and developing more joint capacity in those endpoints so that you have like if the mobility that you have is yours. Um,
Okay.
and so I train that. I also train animal flow. Animal flow is just like being on the ground and doing like primal movements. It sounds kind of corny, but it's been something that's been helping me a lot. And I've been doing it
Yeah.
with a weight vest. Yesterday, I just remembered waking up after uh, doing like striking training just because I can't, do my knees too much with my
Yeah.
injured knee. So I was doing striking training 2 days ago, and I woke up yesterday just feeling, oh, like every part of me was sore. My back
Yeah.
felt twisted up. It just felt
Yeah.
like it felt off. So I would do my ground-based mobility, my animal flow. I did that for about an hour with like a 25-pound weight vest, and all of a sudden I'm like a jump kick now.
Oh
Yeah.
man, wow! Is that something you basically taking these programs to somebody else? You taking a course, or you know what I mean? Or you these are things you just watch guys do and you start doing them too?
That's a really good question. So I bought a course back in college, Animal Flow course by Mike Fitch. Uh, Now, when you look up Animal Flow, it looks a little too dancey for me. So I
Okay,
make it
gotcha.
look a little less dancey. And yeah, I just do it on the grass in the front yard. Um,
Okay,
it became so when I was a coach, I also incorporated that into how I train my athletes and how I train my
oh,
general
smart,
population. Just
smart.
because I think it's good for your average person. Because, if you don't do jujitsu and you don't do whatever this was, you don't really interact with the ground a lot. So you'll
Right.
find people if they like fall on the ground, they look like baby calf trying to get up. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I would
Yeah.
have these people, general pop athletes, interact with the ground, crawl on the ground. Essentially, that's what that animal flow is. Crawl on the ground, rotate and twist and do all these things so that they can have a sense of control of the ground, because ultimately, if you're able to control your body on the ground, you're able to like, then all of a sudden, like what, 4 sets of six of this, easy.
Yeah. 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 That makes sense, man. It's a guy, I don't know if you heard of Ryan Hurst. Um, Yeah, yeah. Just check his stuff out too. Longevity for Life. This guy, his stuff, and I've been trying to mimic some of his things, and it's like, holy cow, man! Just to stay his movements, just to be able to move, it's pretty cool. So I'm like you. At night, I'll do like these stretches and things like that because I know normally I wake up and feel bad, especially with my back the way it just happened. I've been doing these slow stretches on my back and doing these things, and I have woken up feeling a whole lot better. I'm not as stiff anymore. How long have you been doing that routine where you do all your flow movements at night?
Oh wow. I would say I would say probably like at least 5, 6 years.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
But nightly training is also something that I've done since I was in high school. Um,
really.
yeah, I just felt maybe it's like a night owl thing, but I just feel I feel like there's less distractions at night, so I can kind of like center
Yeah.
and get that work in. What, in high school and college, my more active fighting years, that was a time where I could like shadow box and like strategize. Whereas
Gotcha.
when I started getting older, it became less about, improving my tactics and my fight tactics, and it became more about just recovering the body. At some
Okay.
point, that changed, and probably changed during, even being a parent. You
Yeah.
can't be
Oh,
in the living room, like this.
yeah.
Stretching is a lot more acceptable at that time.
Yeah, with little kids and the wife running. What are you doing? You
Yeah.
Pick that kid up, change that diaper.
Um,
But
but
that's smart, man.
even training for like my striking fights, it was not uncommon for me to start hitting the bag downstairs in the basement at like 12 o'clock at, midnight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, sometimes you
Somebody just
gotta
has
like,
that use somebody just has that energy. That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
you gotta do what you
Yeah.
gotta do.
Yeah. Well, some people work well at night. You know what I mean? I've been known to be a night owl. I don't go to bed till like 2 in the morning. I don't know why it is. I can be tired during the day, then I don't take naps. So then at 2 in the morning, I'm wide awake,
Wide
you know,
awake.
wide
Hmm.
awake. And then guess what time I get up? 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm like, geez, why can't I sleep in? I thought it was a medical condition. If I really did, I talked to my doctor about it. I went and talked to them, and they were like, no, you're good. You just, some people have that rhythm,
Yeah,
sleeping rhythm and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
should I incorporate naps? He's like, and my doctor actually said, Tony, you're not that old yet. Come on. You don't need any naps. I'm like, damn it, I want some naps, man.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I totally get it. I kind of make it through the day, and then once like it starts getting darker, the energy starts increasing.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, and my
Yeah.
mind is clear at nighttime. I'm able to like, and usually when I'm doing like the stretching, the mobility, and the groundwork, I'm also watching jujitsu instructional. So I'm like trying to
Oh,
to
man.
learn more jujitsu. So I truly believe that when I come back after this injury, that I will actually be much better than I was. Because I also have a grappling dummy that I've been rolling with at
Oh,
nighttime.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm ready. I was actually gonna go back to training on just a couple days ago, but I just feel
Yeah.
like at this age you have to play it
You
safe
have to
because
take it longer. Yeah.
because 1 week earlier could set me back like another month
Oh, easily, easily,
easily.
easily. And that's the biggest thing for the mindset of us, I don't say us, but guys who are still active out there. We
Hmm.
want to live like or move and do things like when we were younger. I feel great. Jump back in there. And then we're back out for a month or two. Then we hurt ourselves more. But you're right, man. At this age, we have to take a little bit longer. Sometimes that hurts the ego a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I know
Definitely.
looking at you and listening to what you're doing, I guarantee you're biting at the bit to get back on the mat, man.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, I have so many new things that I want to try out now.
Yeah.
Um, locking down the pieces because, eventually I'm a brown belt right now, but I understand that if I keep on this path, eventually I'm going to be a black belt. And
Oh, easy. Yeah,
if I'm going to be
absolutely.
a black belt one day, I definitely want to be able to know every single like system, at least like to be able to explain it and to teach it and even to give an
Yeah,
elevator pitch on it. And I can't do that
yeah.
right now with some things.
I
So
get
I
it.
want to fill in all the gaps.
Oh man, that's cool. I love that mindset, man. Because you're a true, in my mind, you're a true martial artist. You've started from a young age. You have all the different arts that you're trying to put together. Not that you're trying, that you have put together, and now you want to be able to give it to other people. I think that guys who've had more martial arts or different martial arts background is much better at martial arts than people who just had one art that they've perfected. It's okay if you have your base that you perfected, but to add on to it makes you a better fighter. I think that's just my humble but accurate opinion. And I think it works, man.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
pretty
I've
cool.
I've been really, really blessed to be able to share that insight. Last week I was able to do ringside commentary for a pro jiu-jitsu match, and then, a month before that was pro kickboxing, and then I was able to
Oh
corner for an
man,
MMA fight. These things are like a blessing for me, like in the
yeah,
sense that I get to give back.
yeah,
Um, and I love it. To be
man.
able to share that knowledge, because it needs to go somewhere at some
Oh,
point.
absolutely.
It's gonna have to be just like more giving than getting.
Yeah.
you know
That's awesome, man. That's a great mindset. Some of the stuff that makes me sad, and this sounds weird, but I like when Chuck Norris passed away. I was really sad. I was really sad because I think, like you were just saying, with that knowledge has to go somewhere. And I look at it that no one's ever going to learn from him anymore. He's gone.
yeah,
And so some of these guys with these skill sets, and I see them pass on at younger ages or whatever the age, I always think, man, where did that knowledge go? It's just gone. I
it's
know it can
gone.
pass on to other people. It's never going to be that guy again. I know that sounds weird, but I know I get emotional and sentimental when that kind of stuff. I see these great fighters pass on. You know what I mean? Or great teachers and stuff like that, man.
Absolutely. So I want to pass it down. I eventually see myself passing it down to my kids. I don't want to like force them into it, but I gotta
Yeah,
gotta gotta pass it on somehow, some way,
yeah,
because I'm at that
yeah.
age now, where when you're young and you're learning how to like fight, when you're learning martial arts, you're just absorbing. But at some point, you know, it is a gift that's meant to be, transferred on.
Have to, man. Hey, I'm a parent too. I have two girls, but my kids are older, way older than your kids, I'm assuming. And I will tell you, this is my parent advice for you. Force those kids to do martial arts, man. I forced my daughters. They learned from me, and I taught them guns. I taught them all that stuff. And trust me, my girls are vicious, And I tell you, I'm gonna throw this in there because just because I'm gonna brag on them a little bit. I went into this one gym. This was 15 years ago. My daughters were 12 and 13 at the time. And we're looking for a new gym in this area we're moving to, looking for a gym to work out at. We heard about this gym. I'm not going to say the name, but whoever listened to this, they know my girls. They know the place. They probably were there. And so my daughter's going to, so we go in there. I said, well, this is what I've done in my past, but I'm not looking for me. I need somebody to train my daughters and blah, 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 blah. And the guy was like, well, we don't have girls here. They may get hurt and this other stuff. And I'm like, no, my girls will be okay. They can take some shots, they're good girls, and he's like, yeah, okay. So they go in there and they go train for maybe not even a week. And then they wanted to train with one of the semi-pro fighters. I don't know what this guy was. And so the coach is asking, he says, "Do you think your daughter can handle this?" I said, "Which one?" He said, he was like, the younger one, Jazzy. And I said, yeah, she'll be fine with fighting with him. And so I pull her aside. I said, listen, he's going to try to, do this, go try the strength to get, use the strength on you and everything. Just do what you do. If you lose, you lose, you win, you win. She went in there. I kid you not, put my hand on three Bibles. She went in there and cleaned his clock, put him down, had him in the armbar before you know it. She was
Wow.
choking armbar. She was doing all this stuff on him. And the coach got mad and asked us not to come back because he thought I was just, my daughter's with these pro fighters that just trying to run through the gym. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Oh my gosh. Oh, but proud dad moment, proud daddy
Oh
moment.
yeah, I would assume I
Oh
would be
yeah.
so proud if that happened.
Oh man, I was so excited. I will tell you the city that the gym was in, Crystal Lake, Illinois. So
Oh,
Crystal Lake, Illinois.
oh shoot, shout out.
There you go. There you go. I'm not gonna say the gym name because we didn't get along very well after that. But man, I'm telling you, make your kids do it, man. Just like you got to teach your kids how to read, you got to teach your kids how to eat right. Hey, they may be mad in the beginning, but then later on they'll be like, my dad was right. I can kill
You,
everybody now.
I am planting that seed in them. I mean, they're young,
Yeah.
They just turned
Yeah.
6 and 9, so they're still pretty
Okay.
young.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I've
Yeah.
been planting that seed, so every time like they like climb something, climb like a wall that they're not supposed to climb, or do climb on the monkey bars like crazy, do some
Yeah.
extreme athletic event. I always tell them it's because you got that ninja blood in you. You got that kung fu blood.
That's good
Uh,
stuff, man. That's
so
good.
they believe it. It's like
Yes.
they have that
Yes.
like chosen one mentality. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I got some stuff. Um,
That's right, man. That's
so
good.
yeah. So I think this summer, they're in summer school right now, but
Yeah.
once they're out of summer school, I get a little bit of time with them where I get to
Yeah.
train them during the day. And so, yeah, we
Cool.
definitely have Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu on the menu for sure.
That's awesome, man. That mindset, you're so right. You're putting that mindset because they're impressionable minds. You can tell a kid anything at that age and they'll believe it. So you're
Yeah.
telling them that they got that ninja blood. You are the chosen one. That's
Yeah.
good stuff, man.
My
Wow.
son and my daughter firmly believe. And you know what's actually kind of crazy is that my daughter's pretty shy, or
Mhm.
shy, and just kept to herself. And so I have never seen her like, this was probably when she was 5, and I never seen her really like express herself athletically outside of like jumping out of like being happy. But my in-laws got my son like a little kid's like little punching bag thing,
Oh yeah.
just for fun, and he was 2 at the time, so he doesn't really know how to use it. But I remember, I'll never forget this moment when my I heard my daughter in the basement with that punching bag, and I don't think she realized like anyone was listening, but I just remembered hearing her punching it, and I was like, this can't be real, because she's 5 years old, never expressed herself that way, and I just heard her go, it's like fast
Oh
hands, and I was like,
man.
what is happening? Like, who's in the
Oh
basement right now?
man.
It's like, and she's like hitting hard, and I'm like, this is crazy. And if I like bring it up to her, she won't admit it.
Yeah.
She's not gonna
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
it because she's shy about it. But I'm like, there's something there, and so I'm
Yeah.
planting that seed, and I'm hoping that like sprouts one day.
That's awesome, man. Kids are watching. Kids are watching when we don't think they're watching you, man. When we say the bad word, when we get mad, when we get kids are watching, man. So that's cool that you're doing that in front of them, man. Wow. Let's shift gears a little bit. What would some advice? Because you're an older guy. You're way old. You're old guy. Okay, maybe not. But you're old guy. What is something that you'll give? What kind of advice would you give an older guy who's thinking about getting into martial arts? Or let's say, for instance, the guy was a martial arts, but he's been on the couch for the last few years, but he wants to get up and do something.
So I know that typically they always say to like just go in the gym, right? So
Hmm.
like let's say we have like 2 people. We have one person who has never done anything before, and he's older, and let's say he wants to do jujitsu. He saw his friend post like a world's picture on a podium, and he goes, "Hey, I want to do that too." What would I say to that guy? If he's an older, I'm gonna even say like if he's like 35 plus, I would say probably just from my understanding of like the body, I would say get like baseline strength right, baseline
Okay.
conditioning. So I'm just talking about like do like 30 minutes on like the elliptical, like 4 or 5 times
Okay.
a week. Something to get your heart ready.
Okay.
Do some strength training just to get your body ready, and then the big one is just because I do it nightly is get your mobility super super good, so that when you step into that jujitsu gym, you will be essentially be fertile soil. Like whatever is taught to you, you are able to pick up because your body has like a baseline level of fitness, baseline level of mobility. Because sometimes the teachers teach moves, and you'll see like older gentlemen not be able to get into those positions, and they strain and they
Right.
struggle,
Right.
and
Yeah.
sure that they're able to do it, but at a certain age it becomes like swiping a credit card, where if you don't have like that baseline mobility, that money underneath, you're swiping, and eventually that comes back at you. Like you know, you have to pay that at some point. So I would say again, that kind of goes against what people normally say, which is just to step foot into the gym, and that's all good and all. But I would say that that probably applies more to like the 20-year-old guy. Whereas like when you're older, you have to like take care of the conditioning, just like get a baseline, you know, be able to do like a few push-ups. You know, I'm not even talking about like be a beast. I'm just talking about like you have to have like there has to be like a minimum and you have to hit it.
Gotcha.
Mobility, you know, if the person's like straining to like tie their shoes, and you put them in a jujitsu, you put them on a jujitsu mat, they'll have a really hard time doing any shrimping. You know, they're like,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and you know, you could say, hey, this is how they'll get it. But because jujitsu is the way that it is, you can get a lot of like muscle imbalances that way. You could tweak things easily that way. Whereas if you do something in like a controlled setting, you have like a mobility class. Shout out to FRC folks, right? You have a strength class, you have some good conditioning, then all of a sudden you're able to like absorb. Then all of a sudden you're not starting from like I have a hard time shrimping to okay, I did the shrimping, now I'm ready to learn some stuff. You start off like at a way higher level if you do that. So that is
Makes
for
sense.
that one person who starts off as a zero. For the ex-martial artist who wants to get back into it, I would probably say that the it's probably not too different. Get the mobility right. Obviously they can go into the gym much sooner because they have a baseline of movement, like that muscle memory, that movement memory, that doesn't go away uh in years, you know. So then they're able to do it, so they can probably enter the gym sooner. But I
Yeah.
would say that another reason is they're able to communicate to the coach like, okay, I can't do this, or they know their bodies enough to go, yeah, I probably can't do this berimbolo right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so so I would say
I know
that,
that
you know,
feeling.
for both people, the older athlete, you gotta get the mobility right. You gotta get strength and conditioning just to a minimum. And whatever that minimum is obviously to be determined. But you know, can't be straining
Yeah.
tying your shoes.
Good one, man. I like that. I love that answer. That is so true. Because everyone says, just do it. What do you do? Well, I got to go. Just get off the couch and go do it. But chances are, give them 3 days, they're back on that couch not doing it anymore because they hurt themselves or
Hurt,
the
their whole
motivation's
body would
gone.
be hurting. I mean,
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
if you were an absolute zero and you go into a class and the class has like a 25-minute, and you've seen some of these jujitsu classes, you know, been around long enough, or these martial arts classes, the 25 minutes of that warm up uh
Oh,
is like really more for like the 20-year-old, you know, to get
yeah,
their body like,
exactly.
but then like that will like completely ruin that person who's like 40 plus,
That's their whole
who's
workout, man.
yeah, when they're zero. So then when they finally get, so imagine that person, they are near death after that 25-minute, you know, session.
Hmm.
Then they
Yep.
learn technique and they're half there because they're already so exhausted. And then you
Yep.
ask them to spar. And then
Oh,
there's the rolling after. I mean, the chances of them getting hurt are so much higher. Whereas if went in there and let's say that they worked on their mobility, they worked on some strength, they're able to like do do something, right? Then all of a sudden they're able to like go through that warm up session with a clearer head. They're able to go through the instructional with a clearer head. That injury risk like decreases a lot.
you're so right, man. And I tell you, especially being in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, one thing I found is going in there, as an older guy, I think I went in with the right mindset that I just don't care. I got nothing to prove to these guys. You know what I mean? So he tapped me all day and I'm just there to have fun, but I'm to learn. You know what I mean? So, and I would tell guys, older guys like myself who come in and that kind of stuff, hey, be okay with sitting out. It's okay with saying,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to roll with this guy, or I don't want to do that. Because I've seen a lot of guys that want to, I mean, they feel I have to roll with this 20-year-old, and he's tying guys in knots and stuff. I got to do it because, I still got it. You ain't still got it. Just take your time. Take your time, man. But I love that advice you're saying about, getting your mobility right. And that's so important, man, because a lot of us old guys, we lose it. We lose it, man. Wow.
That is the easiest thing to lose. I would say, actually, I would say just because, you know, we know. I believe every 3 years, your body basically like tries to understand what kind of mobility that you currently have, how much you've been using. So if you don't
Okay.
use certain ranges of motion, let's say that, you're like you live up here. If you don't use stuff up here, like, if you don't like lift overhead or whatever, your body goes,
Yeah.
yeah, you haven't used that in 3 years. I think we could probably like nix that a little bit. And so
Yeah.
it kind of like remodels that joint. So you have to like revisit all those ranges of motion. Whereas like
Okay.
strength, you hear about old man strength. Strength you keep. Strength
Yeah.
you definitely keep. And I would even
Yeah.
say like conditioning, you don't keep it per se, but you also don't lose it that quickly because you can kind of understand like, okay, I'm getting out of breath. I can probably pace myself, but you can't pace mobility. Like,
Right.
yeah. So that is like the big
Right.
one that you gotta like have to get right.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Now listen to you, man. I'm gonna work out a little bit more on my mobility. I really do at night. I think I should do it in the morning too. You think that's a good idea? You know, when you
Oh
wake up, start
yeah.
doing some of those stretches and everything. Okay.
Yeah, and
Gotcha, man.
honestly, like 10 minutes in the morning and an hour at night was what I do.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is what will keep you like fresh for sure.
All right. All right, man. I'm stealing notes. I don't know if you notice I'm taking notes. I'm stealing some information. Yeah, do this, do that. So I have to
Yeah,
pay you for it.
how I used to tell my athletes, because like this sounds good for like the old man on the mat, right? The older gentleman on the mat who wants it, mobility makes a lot of sense because for anyone who's like 35 plus, the importance of mobility because when you wake up, it feels different than like 25.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas if you're talking to like a 20-year-old, they don't see the benefits of mobility the same. So how I used to tell the athletes that, because I used to have a lot of college athletes I would train, would be like, it's like having the emergency brake on. If you have bad mobility, it's like driving with the emergency brake on at least a little bit. You can still drive, but you're not driving at your full potential. Whereas like when you re remove yourself of all restrictions, you can express yourself as violently, as athletically, as beautifully as you can. So it's driving with the emergency brake on is kind of how I used to tell it to the young athlete and to the old athlete. They really don't need to hear it. They just need to like do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. Now, do you have any kind of nutritional advice for some of the older guys coming through there or trying to get back into it? Do you have a special nutritional routine that you use yourself?
Man, I would say that nutrition is a tough one. And I was
Mhm.
never like hard on nutrition as a coach because to be honest with you, everyone eats different. You know, I
Well, that's
I
true.
can't
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
true.
like how it put it like this is like I can't tell like that Asian guy, oh yeah, just do chicken and broccoli.
Yeah.
Because like he's like, man, where's my
Yeah.
rice and noodles?
Right.
I
Right.
can't say that to the Mexican dude that, hey, you got to
Yeah.
get like ease up on the noodles because he's like, man, I don't even eat noodles. You know.
Right. Good point.
Um, so I would say nutrition is a lot of it is common sense. A lot of it
Okay.
is like, get your veggies, get your protein, and just don't get too crazy on the bad stuff. And I would say that the only thing that's really like the bad stuff is alcohol. Um,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, I don't touch alcohol. Because
Wow, I commend you. That's pretty cool,
yeah,
man.
you definitely feel not good. Like if you were to like, especially like at me at my age, if I were to drink alcohol, let's say I had like 4 or 5 drinks, I could not do anything the next
Yeah.
day. I feel
Yeah.
like I hold it. I feel less flexible. Um,
Everything
the
tightens.
mo
Yeah.
hmm So I
Yeah.
think the one universal bad thing is like reduce the alcohol for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I say I love my bourbon, but okay.
Oh,
Okay. I'll
what do you like
switch
to
it to
drink?
once a month. Oh, Woodford Reserve, man. That's just simple bourbon, Woodford Reserve.
Oh,
I'll do that. But I don't drink it every day, that's for sure. I try by once a week, maybe. If I have a cigar, once a week, maybe 2 weeks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. See, you remember the liquor though.
oh,
No.
I used to work in the alcohol business. I
Really?
I had a side job as a especially back then, I used to we kind of like briefly touched that I was like an actor model. So I lived in Hollywood, California at one point because I wanted to pursue acting like for real, for real. And so
Yeah.
I would have side jobs that were not like a 9 to 5 or like a like I can't have set hours. I had to essentially work
Yeah.
gigs.
Yeah.
So I worked as a promotional model in the alcohol business. Uh,
Wow.
just think of like whenever you would see like you go to like a bar or a lounge and you see like these women who are like holding these drinks and like promoting them. I was
Yeah.
essentially that woman, but a guy form.
Yeah.
Just because I knew how to talk shit, fucking like
There you go.
talk
That's
talk
awesome,
up the
man.
brand. Yeah, so I worked for like Johnny Walker, Ciroc,
Wow.
Kettle One, and
Oh man.
Guinness. So yeah, I worked through. So I knew my alcohol. That was like the
Oh
one
man.
thing that in my 20s I didn't really think about. I was
Yeah.
still party hardy.
Yeah. No, but that's awesome. You've done some of everything, man. Are you
Yeah.
still trying to get into acting and stuff like that? You still trying to do any of that?
I think that that phase is over because now my ears are like beyond,
Badass ears, man. That's
yeah,
no, those called badass ears, brother. That's called you see the guy across the way, you like, hey, that's a nice guy. I'm gonna leave him alone today.
yeah. So I
Oh
feel like
man.
that time has passed. I mean, I wish I could, but yeah,
Well, you
can't
could be an
fool
action
nobody.
star, man.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
dude, nowadays you could be an action star. I had a guy out here, Kevin Caliber. Awesome, dude. This guy's one of the funniest guy, one of the great spirits guy. He's an actor. He does a lot of acting. He does a lot of action things. You can look him up, man. He's a very friendly, smooth guy. If you ever looking to do some more acting, so you got the ears. They'll put you in those roles as fighters, man. Dude,
Yeah, for
if you
sure.
still got it, you got it, man. You look 12, so you can act in
Yeah,
anything, man. Don't give up on that dream, man.
man.
Man. So now you're out in Kansas City. You're fighting out Kansas City, Missouri. You're fighting out of is it tag team you said before? I'm sorry if I
Tag
got
team,
that wrong.
yeah.
Tag
Mm-hmm.
team. Okay. So that's the street. That's the team you're representing right now.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they have a lot of locations in the Midwest. I think they're only in the Midwest.
Okay.
So big gym, and I'm one of the affiliates. I work for or train at Body Fit. Small
Okay.
gym in Kansas City, but definitely like a tough gym. Um,
Oh
I
wow.
mean, there are some gyms that like play jiu-jitsu, and I just remembered like when I stepped into this one, it was like I was shocked at like the intensity and the just
Really?
physicality of everyone. I'm like, I like this gym. So when I was living in the Bay Area, I trained at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and I also trained at
Okay. Yeah.
Half Gracie in San Francisco. So before I moved out of California, I trained at Half Gracie just because it was close to work. I also wanted
Yeah.
to transition into the gi, and the people at Half Gracie, I mean, it was like a fight.
Really?
This is like Dave Camarillo, BJ Penn, like, you have some like
Oh man.
that lineage of like just
Oh man.
warriors. So you go into the gym and everyone has a chip on their shoulder, and
Oh
it was
man.
just like fighting.
Wow.
So I just remember like coming to Kansas City, and obviously all the gyms are tough. Like, there's
Oh yeah.
no one plays jujitsu in the sense that like not everyone's just drilling like berimbolos and whatever.
Yeah.
But and especially Kansas City with such a strong like wrestling. I mean, you're in the Midwest, so you have a strong wrestling culture, a
Yep.
strong MMA
Yeah.
culture. Every gym is tough, but when I hopped into Body Fit, I just remembered I was like, man, I feel like I'm back at Half Gracie right now. People are like
Really.
fighting,
Wow.
and
Wow.
that's just where I want to be.
Okay, man. Okay, good stuff. Well, let me ask you the big old question, the age-old question that we all have as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners. Gi or no gi? Which one's the best? Come on. What you got?
Um, Man, I would say gi. I like the gi because, especially like at this age, I'm able to
Yeah.
hold down people a little bit more, slow things down a
Mhm.
little bit more. Um, and I think even for like from a learning perspective, being able to like slow things down and like see, okay, the arm goes here, the arm, because then with like no gi, you can cheat a little bit.
Mhm.
Obviously, people are getting a lot better at reducing that and essentially creating wedges underneath people so that you can slow things down in no gi.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you also know like and also I think the sweat factor too. The sweat
Yeah.
factor from like a point of like you can escape easier.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yep.
like techniques are easier to do. Like let's say I'm like, a guy comes up, oh, I have an arm in guillotine or whatever, and like that
Yeah.
arm slips all the way through because we're so sweaty. Um,
Yeah.
so I think the sweat factor, and I think the other part of the sweat factor that doesn't get talked about as much is that gi versus no gi is that with no gi, I mean, sometimes that sweat is a lot. I don't know if I'm because I'm older now, but I remember one time I was playing I was in someone's half guard or he was in my half guard. I was on the bottom and I'm framing and all of a sudden the dude just like starts sweating on me and it goes into my mouth and my eyes and I'm just like, bro, this is terrible. In the gi at least like we
Yeah.
soak it up with each other's gis.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's that part
No,
too, maybe I'm too old for
the
this.
growth
I'm like,
factor.
man, I am too
No.
old to be catching some dude's sweat in my mouth right now. Is
I
all
know.
I could think.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. That sweat dripping on me. I'm just, and I'm this close to being a germaphobe. I'm telling you, man. I'm that close to
Yeah.
being one, man. And have these guys sweating on me, man. I remember I was in there. One guy had a booger in his nose, and he was just hanging there. And I was like, "Yo, bro, you got a booger. You want to take care of it?" He says, "Oh, okay." He wipes it on his gi and jumps back on me. I'm like, "Where did it go, man?
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
You
Uh,
can't be doing." I think guys are gross, man. That's just gross. And couple that with sweat, forget about it, man.
yeah, I mean, because of my ears, things can sometimes get in easily, but things don't get
Yeah.
out very easily, right? So it
Yeah.
takes a little longer to dry. So I remember one time, like, dude, probably the same dude, was sweating, and the ear went, like, the sweat got into my ear, and I just felt like
Oh,
it being wet for, like, the rest of the
uh,
couple hours because, it's,
gross.
it doesn't dry. There's no ear hole.
Yeah, it's just sucked in there.
It's
Oh
sucked in
man.
there, and it's some other dude's
Oh,
sweat. So
oh.
definitely because of the sweat factor, gi.
All right, I'll hold on to that, man. I love the gi. I'm the gi guy. And another, you get the gi, you feel like you're a martial artist for whatever reason. You got a gi on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The no gi, man. No
you
gi for
feel
the young
good,
bucks, man. They can sweat all over each other. That's
You
right,
feel
man.
you feel good, like no gi. I'm just wearing this like tight outfit for no reason. Whereas like the gi, I'm like
Yeah,
okay, I'm like I'm feeling official, tying the belt and
that's
everything.
right, man. Got a little extra snap in it. Be like, yeah, let's
Mm-hmm.
go. Let's do some martial arts today, man.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Well, bro, what pronounce your last name? I think I pronounced it wrong. Hopefully I didn't.
It's Ing. It's like
Okay, I did.
I used to always tell people that if I had a daughter and her name was Hope, her name would be Hope Ing. Um,
Oh man, okay,
you
yeah,
know,
I did say it right. Ing. All right, that was good. Because normally I ask guys that before we start, because everyone could say it could look simple, but it's all jacked up in sounding, and I don't want to mess anybody's names up. But man, I want everybody to remember your name, man, brother. What's next for you after these next fights? That's what you're gonna do? Are you gonna start training other people, or are you just gonna try to continue that fight ring until you say, you know what, it's time to hang the belt up?
that's a good question. I would say that I plan to compete a lot until I get a black belt. And I think once I get a
Okay,
black belt,
I like it.
I I think when I get a black belt, even though it'll be like gifted to me, I think that is when like I really should be gifting my knowledge to other people. Because, right now I
That's
feel
awesome.
like there's still a lot of like holes in my understanding. Uh,
I
there's
get it.
so much to learn in jiu-jitsu. There's so many like tactics like as a brown belt competitor, I could have like two, three really, really good moves that I could like tap out
Yeah.
black belts with. Sure.
Right.
But I want to be able to explain how to do a Kimura from here. Back attacks from here. Here are like some of the details
Yeah.
with the choke, with the collar, with the bow and arrow, and I want to understand like the details of that. So
Yeah.
essentially, I want to compete really, really hard. So I might do no-gi worlds, I might do pans,
Oh
and
wow.
at some point, you know, we'll see. I think the real big one, Tony, to be honest with you, is that I really, really want to be on the top of the podium, and I am gonna keep on
Love it.
going until I am, and then after that, we'll see. But I
All
just tell
right.
myself like I gotta get on the top because I feel like I'm good enough to be on the very, very top of that.
Yeah, yeah, you got to bring it to fruition. I love it, man. Hey, once you stop dreaming, then you get older. You're old man with a goal and a dream. So you got it, brother. I'm rooting for you, man, big time, man. So when is your before we get out of here too? I want to hear all the stuff here, but when is your next fight?
So September 26th is the kickboxing, but September
Uh-huh.
3rd or 4th will be Master Worlds.
Worlds. Okay, that's
Yeah.
in Vegas this year still.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
gotta win that
Okay.
one. I
Good.
gotta.
Hey. All right, brother. Be rooting for you, my friend. That's good stuff, brother. But hey, man, before we get you out of here, man, give everybody all your social media contacts, any way they can reach you, any way they can find you, because I really want these people to be able to follow you and what you're doing, man.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Strong Praxis. Strong Praxis. Praxis is, I believe, an old Greek term, which basically means that you take a philosophy and you turn it into like real life. So it's not just like a head understanding, but it has to be like an express like real thing. So it's the
Yeah,
idea that like, not only do I have like exercise knowledge, but it can't just be here. It has to be, you have to be strong. So Strong Praxis is my Instagram handle, and I compete under Body Fit in Kansas City. I think that's a good place to find me, hopefully after this week. And yeah,
all right, brother. Good stuff, man. Man, this has been awesome, man. This has been very informative for me. I know everyone got some stuff out of the old guys and the young guys listening to this. Because you have a good spirit, you have a good mindset, man. So keep that fight, brother. But man, you got to come back for number two after you win, after you get on the podium, which I'm thinking it's going to be in September. So we'll talk with this, then, my friend. But man, you're awesome, brother. Thank you for taking the time coming on. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
thank you so much, Tony.
Lines on my face like cracks in the road. Still chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back, sweating.